CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
For summer barbecues, road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
Hundreds of new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts. It's all on Odyssey.
Brought to you by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar.
Okay, welcome to the show. 2 weeks away from a game week. Don Bailey, how about that? Closing in a hurry.
I think you're ready already.
I'm ready to go. We are zeroing in on some of the matchups and the depth charts and all those things. Let's jump into some of this stuff and dive into some Miami training camp, and then we'll throw in some Alabama as well. Let's go right off the bat. You were at the scrimmage the other night, and the guy, it's remarkable to me, but I thought going into camp, 2 weeks into camp, I said to myself, that D'Eriq King question has to be answered. And I think he's answered it in a resounding fashion before the 2 week mark.
It has been answered. He was amazing. He really was amazing in the scrimmage. He looked like nothing has ever happened to him. And he actually, the offense, the construction of it, the timing of it, and him specifically looked better than last year. And I will tell you, when you think about it, that the type of injury he had, how long ago he had it, and how he has bounced back from this, and where he is mentally, he's out there like nothing ever happened. You got to commend UHealth. You got to commend Dr. Kaplan, Dr. Best, Vinny Scavo, the nutrition training freely, everybody that's been involved in that athletic department, and himself. You got to thank D'Eriq King or praise him for how much he's put into it to get back this quick. This used to be a 2-year injury, a 1.5 year injury. Then it went down, and then it went down. And now he is miraculous. And it's not a miracle. I really just think he's worked himself to it, and he's had the greatest support and the greatest surroundings of talented surgeons and rehab and all of the things that go with it to get to this point.
He doesn't look like he has missed a beat. He's running with authority.
Correct.
He's throwing the ball with authority. Last year, after about the first 4 games, maybe there was this concern about the deep ball, which I think he corrected most of last year. He has not had any problem connecting on a deep ball in training camp.
If you give him a fairly clean pocket and he can see, he can throw a deep ball. I saw it with my own eyes on Sunday night. Well, I don't know. He hooked up with Rambo, and it was beautiful. And there was a rush, and it wasn't, ones against fives. It was a legitimate deal early on, and it was he made connections all night long.
Now, before I anoint him Heisman Trophy winner, which I'm not doing at this point, I do think he's had a great camp so far. Ready for him to play against Alabama. Alabama is going to be ready for him also.
There's no
question. Alabama, when you take a look at the size of their linebackers, they're 6'4", 250, 6'5", 250. Alabama comes not only with girth, they come with height. So there's going to be a lot of population around D'Eriq King in that game. One, to prevent him from running. If there's an Achilles heel on the Alabama defense last year, one of them was running quarterbacks. They will get a lot of population around him, number one. And number two, when he throws, they will have their hands in the air. And they're already starting at 6'5", 6'6". So those passing lanes are going to be clogged up.
That's going to be the challenge, is the passing lane. I mean, one way to combat that, obviously, is to move him out of the pocket and hopefully get some things opened up for him. You talk about the fact that where he's going to be challenged. They're going to. This is a defense that's back in its entirety. I mean, what they lose? They lost 2 guys. One was a first-round pick, Surtain, and then I think the first-round defensive tackle. And they go and they pick up from the portal the linebacker, the Toto or Tutu, whatever it is. They pick him up from the portal. He's a guy Tutu, right. And he's the best linebacker available in the nation as far as coming off the portal. And they're not going to miss a beat, Joe. You watch them defensively last year. They had 2 games that they gave up a ton of points. It was the Florida game, Ole Miss game. Other than that, they just squeezed everybody down. They play. Look, I go back to Ohio State. Everyone, what happened against Florida? What happened against? Go to the championship game. It was done at halftime. It was done, over, signed, sealed, and delivered.
We're going to get to the Alabama offense in a moment and give you a number that is eye-popping, one that you can roll around for the next 2 weeks. We'll get to that in a moment. It will be a storyline in the game. You're going to have Jordan Battle went to St. Thomas.
Right. Plays
one safety spot. Yeah, Daniel Wright plays the other safety spot from Boyd Anderson. So we're going to have a little local flavor in this thing. And then Miami is imported. You talk about the portal and a guy that he jumped out again the other night. And I think it's pretty clear that Rambo right now is playing with an attitude. He's got size. He's thick. And he can get down the field.
In watching Sunday and watching from practices in the spring, but really on Sunday, the thing that came out to me on how he plays the game is that he never looks like he's straining. The long ball didn't look like it was straining. Tough catch across the middle didn't look like he's straining. Some guys, when you're not blessed with elite talent, you make it happen, but it looks like you're trying real hard to make it happen. It happens, but there's a lot of effort going into it. He does everything with a minimal amount of effort and has a gear that I believe is better than anybody else on that football team. He can separate against the better players. You look at what he does, how he runs his route, and I think I read Coach Likens had mentioned, or Coach Lashley had mentioned about the routine ball. He can make the circus catch. We want to make sure he catches that routine ball. And I think that's something that you and I will spend time on our pregame is in that ball game, you can't miss the routine ball.
No, you can't. You can't miss against
right?
Alabama.
No.
You read my mind because I was watching today and I'm thinking to myself, Alabama, you're going to get an opportunity somewhere in the game, a few, maybe not many, but sometimes it doesn't take a lot.
Right.
But you're going to get a few. Whether you get them to blow a coverage, whether you get behind them. I mean, they're not
flawless.
Right. It's not going to be for 85 plays where they've got you. But on the plays where you got them, you better make them pay. You better punish them.
Well, let's go back to the bowl game, right?
Right.
If the receivers would have made a couple plays, would have just made the easy play, Miami would have won that game. Miami would have won that game. Between Wiggins and Pope, the drops led to the loss. Miami came back. They're down 21. They lost the game by 3, and they left 2 touchdowns, easy touchdowns, didn't get on the board. And you're 100% right when you talk about you're going to get that chance. But the other side of it is, and I go back to the championship game that I've been watching the most, Alabama, even in the middle of the third and fourth quarter, they had guys on the field that were not the starters, and those guys made the play. Everybody makes the play. Even the drop or the hit that should have jarred the ball loose, something of that nature which came up numerous times in that ball game, they made the play, and that's what you have to do. When you're playing them, you can't miss the easy deals.
2 more players I want you to take a look at. No, well, 3. I'll take one of them. Restrepo, he's making a lot of catches, circus catches. I think he's got a chance to be a first down maker on third down. 2 players I think they're really pushing hard and can help them in a lot of ways. Both of them end in Smith. Keontre Smith and Keyshawn Smith. Keyshawn Smith, number 5. Keontre, number 4. Keyshawn Smith, I think, can help you at 3 levels. I think he can catch the ball underneath, catch it and go. I think he can catch it at the intermediate level, and I think he can get him on takeoff routes as well. He needs to be a little more consistent.
He looks like a younger version of Rambo. Now, I didn't see Rambo as a younger version, but I'm just talking size-wise, speed-wise. Rambo comes in with that maturity. He comes in with that experience. Now you're seeing the physical side of Smith. You're seeing the fact that what you said, he can go all three levels just like Rambo can. You see that he has that top-end speed, that extra gear that everybody looks for at that receiver spot. That's there. He makes the catch. And when he does it, it doesn't look like it's straining him. He's another guy now. Unfortunately, he got dinged up a little bit in the spring, had some issues last year, but now you're starting to see him get that confidence with the quarterback and with the offense, and it's starting to show. So you're spot on with him.
Now, the other one, Keontre Smith, we know if Miami linebackers, if you take Jennings and Sam out of the mix, you don't have great size. You're kind of size challenged. Sam Brooks, right? Sam Brooks can bring you some size. Jennings can bring you some size. Keontre Smith is a little bit undersized, the linebacker. However, we're going to play the speed over size game. And I saw him the other day. He's pretty clever. The offense, they're running their stuff on a run play, and he just gives the old do-si-do, avoids the block, and he's in the backfield with a 5-yard loss. Can he survive that way? I guess is the question. Maybe not even a question. Probably is going to have to survive that way.
He can, because in my opinion, I'm picking the athlete. Now I want him to be a football player, and that's what Smith is. He is a football player. There's no question. And he's got the instincts. You're not making plays like that if you don't have an understanding of the game. You're not making plays like that if you don't have anticipation, if you aren't studying the offense, if you don't understand what your role is on the defense. He has all of that. He's worked himself into this spot. The size part of it, okay, so he's gonna get. How often does that guy go head to head? Not as often as you think. And he's shifty and he's slippery.
Good word, shifty.
Right?
Well, he's hard to. I would say this: if after a couple weeks, if this works out, the opponent's going to look at him, and they're going to say, we have to block a moving target.
And
that's a hard block.
But see, here's the other side of it, Joe. He can be featured, and they can cover him up too. They can make it difficult for the offense to get to him by how they align the front.
Right.
They're just not going to let somebody come off and get him. They're going to make sure that somebody's got to slip off, or they got to double off, or they've got to get him in space. I believe that was a great move, and it was a great recruit. I mean, fortunately, he's got a little hurricane in him, right?
Yeah.
But he's a guy that is going to, he kind of reminds you of, in a sense, since the spring, Restrepo has always showed up every single day. He does something every day. Doesn't matter what it is, meaning what the circumstance is. You will see him every day make a catch, make a play, make a block, do something. Smith is of the same ilk. He's the kind of guy that every single day he's going to do something.
And that also brings some energy. There's another intangible there. Brings momentum. All right, let me let you chew over this one. Everybody can chew this over for a little bit. Alabama has scored 35 or more points. 35 or more points in 26 of their last 27 games. They scored 35 or more in 25 straight of those 27. The only one in the last 27 where they did not score 35 or more was the semifinal game against Notre Dame, where they only scored 31. So the magic number might be 35. You want to beat them, hold them under 31. Hold them under 30.
But, Joe, here's the craziness. Out of those, so that's 2.5 years of football, right?
Of 35 or more points in every game.
But there's Southeastern Conference championships. There's Southeastern Conference games. There's semifinal games, and there's national championship games. Let's say, so what would that be, 3, 6? So maybe 6, 8, or 10 of those games are of a high level opponent. It's not like that's not your homecoming numbers. Right? That's not when we schedule Mercer. That's what happens.
No, not the homecoming game. So that's the number to chew over for the next 2 weeks. 35 or more in 26 of their last 27, including, during that time, 25 in a row. They only scored 31 against Notre Dame. Still to come on the show, we'll hear from former Hurricane head coach Mark Richt. Chris Cohen is going to join us to get us updated on all the stuff going on with the University of Miami Athletic Department. Andy Vaughn will be with us from the practice field at 7:05. We'll also hear from Gary Stokan from the Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl kickoff game. That's all coming up on the show. It will be number 14 Miami, number 1 Alabama on September the 4th. Our broadcast will start at 11:30 in the morning for a 3:30 kickoff. Always number 1, whether it's the preseason rankings, middle of the season rankings, or the end of the year rankings, Williamson Buick GMC, and they have just announced a limited time vehicle buyback program. Bring in your pre-owned vehicle and they'll buy you out of your current Ally or GM financial lease contingent of current equity and dealer's final appraisal. And right now you'll get the best trade value the automotive industry has seen in years. Not only that, Ed Williamson will help you avoid lease end penalties like excess mileage fees, wear and tear, offsides as well. Well, I'm only kidding about the offsides part. You don't want to miss this exciting opportunity. Schedule your appraisal today. Visit their state-of-the-art facility. It is easily located at US 1 and 104th Street, just south of the Palmetto Expressway. Williamson Buick GMC, your premier luxury dealership. Williamson is Miami.
On Pod Save the World, we want to be your cheat sheet for global events. My name is Tommy Vitor, and each week, my co-host Ben Rhodes and I break down the biggest stories from around the world. Ben and I both worked on President Obama's national security staff, and we'll introduce you to the activists, politicians, and journalists who can help us understand what's going on around the world, what it means for the United States, and what it's like being inside the White House Situation Room during a crisis. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your pods.
CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
For summer barbecues, road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
Hundreds of new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts. It's all on Odyssey.
Brought to you by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar.